Good morning, Dr. Torre.
So this is special, right?
This is very special. Super
I
excited.
am too.
That
Very excited.
that
Very
more
excited.
in 2024 that we were talking about,
Right?
it's
Yeah.
here. It's here.
It is here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But tell everybody where we are this morning, Tori.
So we are in the lovely Swan and Dolphin Disney Resort. It is absolutely gorgeous here. And they have been so accommodating in lovely Orlando, Florida. We all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. And it is
It's
just so nice to be in the midst of all of the energy around this conference. Shift 2024. Yeah.
Yes, and we're at the booth of the Pony Podcasters. So,
Yes.
some of my fellow financial services industry experts are also podcasting at this event. So, we're super excited for this
Yes. Yes.
opportunity.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, ma'am.
Yes, well, let me just let y'all in on a little secret. Dr. Tori is my college bestie. I didn't have to bribe her too much to get into this space. I'm a native Atlantan too, so one of the proud and few. It's very few of us
Yes.
out there.
Yes.
Georgia peaches. I really came into this space because I spent over 2 decades in banking and finance, and then I eventually started my own practice, IntegraVest Wealth Advisors. I'm the founder of it. And one of the things that I quickly noticed, I wasn't always talking about returns on investments and RAs and retirement
Yes.
accounts. So a lot of times there's blended families. There's a lot of emotional things around money. There may be secret accounts. There are times that I even work with couples. I'm not working with them together.
Yeah.
The husband is a client separately from the wife, and I have this Chinese wall. It occurred to me very quickly that, hey, I'm not just talking about investments. I'm really doing wealth management, and I'm managing relationships,
Yes.
right? And their legacies and trying to help them to reconcile so that they're not leaving any opportunities on the table. And so, but a lot of that also dealt with some emotional mindset. It could have started with their childhood rearing, etc. And so in 2018, I had the opportunity to participate in a pilot that the Financial Therapy Association was doing with the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. And I really believe because of my role at the Federal Reserve and being in that consumer protection space is why I was invited to participate in this pilot. It was mainly social service or nonprofit organizations who were in the pilot. I was the only financial advisor. And I said, oh my God, this tool, I could use this in my practice.
Yeah.
So that's when I reached back out to you again, because that was probably the second time I had
Right.
introduced this to
Right.
you. And I was like, can we please do this together? Because I do also understand if I'm getting into a space where there is personal trauma, that's beyond my expertise.
Right.
I'm so glad you took the invite. Just for the
Yes.
past 5 years, it's been very
Illuminating.
enriching, and I mean just the
Illuminating.
lives that we have impacted, from business owners
Yes.
to couples,
College
college
students.
students. Yeah,
Yes.
and so I'm just grateful for the opportunity and to see the fruit of the work.
Had you not invited me into this world, I probably, to be honest, wouldn't have really even known about this to the extent, may have heard it a little bit amongst other colleagues, but financial therapy in Atlanta is still a baby, 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 baby. Be doing workshops, doing the things that we're coming to do. It has just really broadened my scope of psychology, broadened my scope of my industry. I currently am private practice in Atlanta, where most of my focus is on relationships. And so when I look at this is just an extension of relationships, whether it's a relationship with yourself, a relationship with a partner, a colleague, business, period. Psychology is at the heart of how we relate. It definitely has brought me, as I said, as a professional, but also as a businesswoman. A lot of times private practitioners in psychology only see from a linear perspective of just being a therapist. And I'm not at all frowning upon that. But for me, I did want to broaden my scope with my relationship work with couples. Money is always an issue that comes up. Money is always something that can be a divide or can be something that unites. My whole background is about bringing people together, right? And so financial therapy does just that. It helps give more knowledge, more understanding to your relationship with your money, yourself, and your mates or colleagues or business partners. Many people don't even realize that there is an actual emotional relationship to your money, your finances, right? We have a relationship with the bills,
Right, 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 right. The
the
necessity.
necessities. But yeah, when it comes to money, there is an actual dance that we do that many of us are not aware of.
That's what, makes me laugh when I think about the pilots, right? Pilots have the steering column when they're flying a plane, and every inch actually changes
Hundreds of
direction, right,
miles.
for 60 miles. So
Yes.
when you're thinking this little thing, oh, it won't hurt if I do this one more time, not realizing, well, actually, it's changing your trajectory a whole lot. So imagine this. I'm deciding I want to go to Bali. And then at the end of the day, I end up in Hawaii. I'm going to be a little upset, right? Because I really wanted to go to Bali. But
Absolutely.
it was those little incremental changes in my steering, right? That got me
Ripple
over in
effect.
right, got me over in Hawaii. Yeah, Hawaii's nice, but guess what? I settled. I don't want to settle.
Oh,
Right? I don't want to
yeah.
settle. So that's why these conversations are very important because they're very intentional,
Yes.
right? And so we create this intentionality. We make sure that we have integrity around it. We're doing the things that we say we're going to do. And when we see things come off course, we can realign quickly and
Yes.
not think this minute maneuver doesn't matter when it does.
Working with the individuals that I work with, getting them to understand that my reasoning and my emotion cast so much weight into my actual experience in life. A lot of times we think things and we keep them to ourselves, or we withhold things from our partners or from our business colleagues, thinking that it won't matter or thinking that it's not substantial, when in fact, it's very much substantial and important and significant.
It doesn't have to be a kumbaya piece of information. All information is important because now you know how to retrofit or recalibrate around it. You want that opportunity,
Yeah,
right?
because once we
Yes.
become intentional, we become extremely clear. And you can't make $1 million deals without having that clarity.
Hopefully the listeners will grab a pencil and try to jot these things down.
Right.
We talk about what are the things that you dislike about yourself or your life. So we have them to start there. Why is that important?
I always say you cannot change what you do not identify. And so many times we're going through life, experiencing life, and not really connected with ourselves in a way of understanding. I really don't like this. Why am I doing this? Or this really isn't that important to me. I'm doing this because my wife, my husband, my kids want me, my parents have this expectation, but deep down, this isn't my desire.
And then after we get them through that question, then we ask them, what are your values and why? Sometimes we adopt values that we grew up around, and they're not really
Yes.
our true values, right? And why is that your value?
With values, we're always talking about the foundational bricks of how we want to connect with our life. Many people think a value and a standard is the same thing. It's not. When you're talking about your values, you're talking about the things that you want to be known for, the things that say, oh, that's who Sibyl Slade is. She's a woman of integrity. She's honest. She's forthright. She's focused. Whereas many people, they haven't identified that yet. Or, again, they have accepted or bought into the value system of either their culture or their actually intimate family culture, right? Which means they're not really sure or not really certain of what is valuable and important to them because they don't know themselves that well.
So once we've determined what those core values are, how do you violate
Oh,
these values? And then what violations have you normalized? Talk about that a little bit.
so in the world of psychology, normalization is just how we have learned through repetition and pattern to exist. So people think normal means good. No, there's no, indication or any definition to say that being normal is being right or correct. It is what we as human beings have learned. This is what I'm used to doing. Let's take it to a physical aspect. Okay, I'm an honest person. I believe in being true and honest with myself. I know I need to lose 20 pounds, right? But I continue to eat food that I know is contradicting
Right.
that 20-pound loss I'm seeking. A person says, I want to save $10,000 in 12 months. And that's important to me. It's important to me because I believe in contribution. And if I can get that $10,000, I can contribute more money, more energy, more time to something that is of importance to me. but I'm constantly spending.
Mm-hmm.
That's a violation. That's
Yes.
a violation of contribution. So when we normalize something, it becomes a part of us. It becomes so much of our matrix, like the color of our skin, the color of our eyes, the color of our hair. When we start to have non productive behaviors, what we're doing is we are undoing what we say we're building. Now, how do we normalize that? We normalize it because maybe there is some trauma of I'm not enough, so I'm constantly buying clothes. I'm not happy, so I'm constantly using vacation to get away from my situation. Those things cost money.
Mm-hmm.
So the non productive behavior is starting to be a coping mechanism so that I can get through life and manage life because I'm not in control of my life. So it's all a circle.
Then that's why we get them to really focus on what are some positive patterns. So when those moments
Yes.
hit, you already have this list listed that's positive.
We
So
identify what's
right,
positive. We
right,
identify a coping mechanism to insert to counter the non productive behavior.
exactly. Yes,
Yes.
yes. And then from there, this is kind of where we wrap with our clients. Now that you understand your values, what does alignment look like for you? So that's that final question that we end up asking them because we want them to be able to express what does that look like for them. Want them to be able to visualize it,
Yes.
see the possibilities that they
And to
once
identify,
thought was not there
yeah,
before,
and
right?
to identify what they're already doing right.
Right.
So
Yes.
when we talk about finding that curative, that positive coping mechanism, we're saying, okay, look, you're already doing this.
Yes.
Let's do more of it.
Now let's take that and transfer it to other parts of what other parts of our life can we translate this to, right? Because those patterns, it's not just going to be in money, not just going to be in relationships. It's going to be in a lot of things. It may be in how
Yes.
you show up at work, how
Yes.
you deal with friendship,
Yes.
how you deal with your kids,
Yes. Your attitude
your
about your
attitude.
work.
Yes,
Yes, all
all
of
of
those
that.
things have a significant impact on how you perform as a professional and as a highly successful person.
Yeah.